to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's in your rest there. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles till I butt my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the Bird Gang Nation, that's worldwide.
Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31 in a building. How you guys doing today? We got a very special guest in the house. It's 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro and All-Decade. You know, Mr. Hall of Fame in Kansas City over there. My boy, Tony Richardson. How you doing today, my guy?
Man, I'm good, fam. I'm telling you, that intro video, man, I told you I was sitting here at the gas station making life decisions, man. But I started doing some calisthenics. I was getting hype over here, so that's a good intro, bro.
Right, thanks. I love it. I be getting pumped up. I haven't been using it a lot lately, but I'm glad I got to use it today. So how you been, my guy? You know, thank you for coming on. Let everybody know where you're from. In case they don't know, this is an Eagle channel, but you know they might not know about what you did back in the day. I know exactly what you did. You'd be one of my favorite Madden players back in the day. I used to love running behind you, man. Tell everybody where they're from.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you the highlight of my day is I got a chance to meet this cat right here. So anybody that can see, that's the Michael Myers. And so my buddy, he has a wellness clinic in New Jersey, and he knows I'm a big Halloween fan. And so he hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to come have lunch with Michael Myers?" I'm like, "Dude, come on, man, stop messing with me." So he's about 6'5". His name's James. He's an older guy, man. They just filmed. Actually, you know what? They were filming up in Philly. So he finished his last show, I think, yesterday. Set yesterday, and he's taking a break. And he came down to my boy's wellness shot. So my day is going good. You know, hanging out with Michael Myers, and obviously jumping on the chat. But a little bit about myself. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. So my pops was in the military. So we lived in Frankfurt for 2 years, and then we moved to El Paso, Texas, for 3. Back to Germany for 3, Fort Knox, Kentucky for 3, back to Germany for 3, and then finally we got stationed down in Daleville, Alabama, near Fort Rooker, Dothan, that area, and then went to undergrad at Auburn, and then from there I know this is the Eagles chat, so my rookie year was with the Dallas Cowboys. I know that's not.
Boo! No, I understand. And we got some Cowboys in the chat too sometime.
Yeah, and then 1 year with the Cowboys, I was on the practice squad. 11 years with the Chiefs, 2 with the Vikings, and then I'm in New York right now and finished up with the New York Jets.
Nice, man. Nice. How was it, growing up in Alabama? I'm here now. I'm a Calabamian. I'm here now, but I didn't grow up here. I came here as an adult. I came back and forth throughout my teenage years. But how was it growing up here playing football in the South?
I enjoyed it. It was different, because it was a little bit of a culture shock because I, growing up in Germany and traveling around and then getting to Alabama. So the little town in Daleville, man, when I was in high school, we had 2 traffic lights. I think now they might have 2.5. My high school football team, seriously, man, my high school football team only had 22 kids, 23 kids. It was hard. It was hard knocks. And that's why, I think that's what kind of molded me because it was like, small weight room, small school, small community, like one McDonald's, one Pizza Hut. That was it. You know what I mean? So Walmart on Friday night was a hangout. So, but it, it molded me into the person I am today because, everyone's just like, oh, you don't have to say yes, ma'am. You don't have to say yes, sir. I'm like, listen, I'm from the South and I'm going to be I'm 50 years old, but I'm always going to be a gentleman. And that Southern upbringing really helped me out a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's Southern hospitality here. In the South, everybody's yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I like it. They got the kids doing it all. So how was it? Did you get a scholarship to Auburn? Or
yeah, man. So crazy enough. So everyone's just like, man, how would you end up playing 17 years in the NFL? I'm like, I didn't start playing high school ball until actually high school. So the reason why I actually went out for football is when I was a kid, I got bullied, I got picked on. So I was kind of a shorter kid, a little overweight, and so really wasn't into sports. And so the kids that I call, I guess the kids I wanted to hang out with, they were like, hey man, come out for football. And so I went out for football, and then everything changed. Like I started in the weight program, my body started changing. And so that's when I really started to, put on weight, and then became a running back and, just started racking up yards. And then all the schools started coming. I was the top rated running back in the state of Alabama. So I had different offers. I went to Alabama's camp, Florida State with Bobby Bowden, Auburn with Coach Dye. And then ultimately, obviously, ended up choosing Auburn. So, but it's funny. I got to Auburn. I think we had maybe 15 running backs. I was 15th on the depth chart.
At the bottom of the list, but hey, it worked out, right? You got up that depth chart pretty fast there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just the same thing. That grind, like, don't even count. And I tell young kids all the time, like, don't even look like, oh man, there's 10 tight ends. I'm like, no, you just go and you just bust your butt and let the chips fall as they may. And I ended up starting as a freshman. So I was the second freshman to start at Auburn after Bo Jackson. So and nice. Everyone's like, dude, you're such a nice guy off the field. And they said, man, when you put that helmet on, you like a different cat. And I'm like, but it's survival. So when I strapped the helmet on, it was I was trying to get the defensive guy.
Were you fullback then, or were you running back? What made you switch over?
I came in as a tailback, and our starting fullback was James Joseph, actually an Eagle, ex-Bird. So James Joseph was our starting fullback, and he did a little bit of tailback, but he got hurt. And so our Stacey Danley was hurt as well. So they had to take Electron Williams, who's from Viger, and he ended up starting. And then they put me at fullback. But even then, I was still like maybe fourth on the depth chart. And so once I got to fullback, I was 220 soaking wet. But the style of offense we ran was West Coast, so a lot of cut blocking and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And so I was still able to do it. And so yeah, I just fullback kind of chose me. But when I was with the Chiefs, I was a primary ball carrier for a couple of years. But fullback, once we got Priest Holmes, then the rest they were like, "You're gonna put your hand back in the dirt." So
yeah, get you back down there.
You're back there. You're a fullback now.
So leaving Auburn, were you undrafted free agent? Were you undrafted free agent?
Yeah, I was undrafted. So my senior year, we ended up going through the SEC 11-0, undefeated, and we were on probation that year. That was 1993. So the only two cats that got drafted was Wayne Gandy. He went first round to the Rams, and then James Bostic, who was my tailback, he went third round to the Rams, and everyone else was free agent. So I had a free agent tryout, with the Cowboys. Busted my butt, still ended up being on practice squad, which for me was the best thing ever because I know the Cowboys fans on here would appreciate this, but the Cowboys had just come off back-to-back Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. So you look from a mentor standpoint, I'm looking in the locker room like I got Emmitt Smith over here. I got Troy Aikman, I got Michael Irvin, I got Charles Haley, I got, just Hall of Famers across the room. And it really taught me that mentality of what a professional, how you go about doing your work on the field, off the field, weight lifting, all that kind of stuff, nutrition. And then that one year was probably the best year to happen. And then next year I went to Kansas City and my locker was next to number 32, who happened to be Marcus Allen. So when you have two mentors like that, it gives you a great start in the National Football League.
Oh yeah, Marcus Allen, Emmitt Smith, those are some legends to be playing behind, man. I read that, 9 straight 1,000-yard rushers you blocked for, man. Like 9 straight seasons, man. How was that? Like, when did you know that you were the best fullback in the game?
I never really considered myself that. I think I was a beneficiary, and it's funny because I was actually, at an event last night, and I was with just talking about offensive line play, and then we jumped on a chat last night with Damian Woody. So when I got to Kansas City, man, we had Will Shields, Hall of Famer, John Alt was our left tackle, Brian Waters. So we had such good offensive lines, and then you fast forward to Minnesota. I had Matt Burke, I had Steve Hutchinson, Hall of Famer, and then you get to when Kansas, we really rolled Kansas City, you still had I still had Willie Rofe, all these Hall of Famers, and so I think I was a beneficiary of just having good offensive line play, and it just made my job that much easier. But I took a lot of pride because as a fullback, you're doing the dirty work, but you understand, like, if Priest goes for 100 yards, or Larry Johnson goes for 100, or Adrian Peterson, or Thomas Jones, or LaDainian, it's like I did my job. And so that
keep on naming them Hall of Fame running backs, my guy.
Like, man, I'm just
anybody.
I'm just a beneficiary.
Anyone great that you should know of ran for it. I put my part in there. All of them should have been buying you dinner when they got that jacket. So how was the Kansas City Chiefs? Let's go back to there. You know what I'm saying? How was it being there? That's where you spent most of your time. Did you like the culture there? You got to won a lot of football games there.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Yeah, it was good because we came in and we were defense. And so obviously, God rest his soul, I played with, Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, Dan Salamua. We had some guys. We had some horses up front, and Dale Carter at corner. So we were pretty good. And then when Marty left, we kind of got more. When Dick Vermeil came, we kind of went to more of an open up style of offense. Tony Gonzalez, Dante Hall, Eddie Kennison, you know what I mean? So, and then Priest Holmes, and we were lighting it up, but it was crazy. I was at the Combine 2 weeks ago, and I was talking to Reggie Wayne, and Reggie was like, man, T-Rich, you remember the playoff game when we came to you guys in Kansas City? It was the first game, and I still think the only game in NFL history that we won a whole game with no punts. They beat us 37-31. We couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop us. Like, that's crazy. Like, Peyton Manning was lighting it up. We were lighting it up. But we did have a fumble, and Tony had a pass interference call. If not, we probably could have won the game. But yeah, we had some powerful stuff on offense. Our defense was, it just, when you invest your money in certain places, you know how it is. If you don't spread it out, then you're gonna have one side of the ball that's a little bit more dominant. But I love Kansas City, man. It's a great place to play, great fans. As we mentioned early on, like when I was there early on, we had this kid, and you guys know this guy very well. And we were he was in high school, and they're like, man, you got to come see this guy. And they're like, man, who's this guy? Man, this cat named Darren Sproles. I'm like,
Sproles!
Yeah. Dude, we used to go watch him in high school, man. And the same stuff that he was doing as a professional, dude, he was lighting kids. He was lighting them up, bro. They had no answer for him. And then when he went to K-State, we would go up to games and watch him play on Saturdays, man, because he was that electric. And obviously, like, he's a good friend of mine. We trained together in the off season, a couple times. And but man, just to see the success that he had in the league is like, oh, he's too small. Oh, he's this, he's that. Okay, keep on trying him. Yeah.
Right? That was my role model because I played tailback all the way up to semi-pro.
Yeah.
And, I'm only 5'7". I mean, 5'6.5" maybe, but I was always really stocky and fast,
Yeah.
So that was one of the guys I really looked up to, the guys like Darren Sproles out there doing his thing. You got a couple other short running backs that kind of did their thing. Barry Sanders, my number one running back of all time. Like that guy. Whoo. Watching those Barry Sanders highlights really had me going every game. I'm saying, but I can do that. Let's do it. Let's get to the field.
Sure. Yeah.
You get some advantages being short. You can hide behind the big boys. You know what I'm saying? If you got some speed and jukey abilities, you can kind of get open that open field pretty good there.
Oh,
so
sure.
I liked it. It was fun. Yeah. So what was the change when you left Kansas City? Was it just a business decision? Was it one of them type things where you went to Minnesota?
Yeah, it's funny because obviously free agency just started, I guess, last night at midnight. And when I was in Kansas City for all 11 years I was there, I never experienced free agency. So before my contract ever got up, we always got the deal done. So this particular year, Coach Vermeil was leaving. They just brought in Herm Edwards. The general manager was Carl Peterson. He was traveling out of town. So free agency comes, and like, I don't have a contract. And so they were like, oh, we're going to take care of you. So my agent was like, look, Tony, I know you want to finish as a Kansas City Chief. You owe it to yourself to at least see what's out there. And even then, I was like, man, I don't really want to. I couldn't even envision playing somewhere else, and never envisioned getting on a plane. But anyway, I took the trip to Minnesota. They rolled out the red carpet. They were like, listen, I don't care what the Chiefs are trying to do. We really want you. We need leadership. And that's actually, we had Chester Taylor then, so that's the year before we actually drafted AP. And so the Chiefs were like, you know what, we're going to give you a 1-year deal and then transition to the front office. But as a player in that competitive spirit, like, you can't let someone else dictate when your career is over. Because had I done that, maybe I'm in the front office, but I still got a chance to play 2 more years in Minnesota and then 3 years with the Jets. That's 5 extra years of my career. They were looking at calling it done at 12. And so, it was a tough decision, probably one of the hardest decisions I had to make, but I'm thankful I did it because it opened my eyes up to so much. And, like, being able to, like, block for Adrian Peterson. I used to tell AP all the time, I'm like, AP, listen, I know how to get this muscle. How you get that muscle? Like
right?
That muscle,
AP was a beast,
like,
man. AP still playing, man.
that I've never seen before. But it was cool, man. So I'm glad actually. And I still got a lot of friends in Kansas City. They put my number up or put my name and number up in the rafters. So it's a special place.
How was that day? How was that day, man? Kansas City Hall of Fame, man. Numbers up in a bit, boy.
Well, the best part about it, it's a good part and a bad part. So when Clark Hunt called me, the owner of the Chiefs, and he gave me a call, he was just like, hey, Tony, I got some news for you. I'm like, oh, what do I do now? So he was like, he's like, hey, we're gonna put your number up on the Ring of Honor. And he was like, is there any particular game that sticks out? And I was like, he said, when the schedule comes out, just pick one. So I was like, man, you know what? It'd be pretty cool when the Jets and the Chiefs play. So I had a bunch of my, Jet fans and friends come up, and then obviously the Chiefs. Man, the Chiefs must have beat the Jets like 30-0. So I'm over here trying to be equal. And the Chiefs, I think your boy Ryan Fitzpatrick threw like 4 picks. They stomped a mud hole. So my Jet fans wasn't too happy about that, but the Chiefs fans are pretty cool. But now it's for me as a son of a military man, and my sister obviously served. I think she might actually be listening now. And for me, everything I wanted to do is just make my dad proud and my family proud, and that Richardson name. So the fact that name is always going to be up there. And it's crazy because you don't, when I came in as a young cat, you look up there, you see these names, you're like, oh, shoot, Bobby Bell, you see Lynn Dawson, you see these names up there, you can never even envision in your mind, like, that you could ever be one of those guys. And so that day, man, it was like, when they brought me back out on the field, dude, my knees buckled. I think I almost fell down. So it was like,
right?
It was emotional. So it's like, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then the all-decade team, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's pretty impressive, too, the 2000s. You put some work in, my guy. Put some work in.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because since then, I'm in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, which is actually in Birmingham. And you get a chance to...
I'm right next door to it. I work right next door to Alabama
Hall of
Fame.
Fame.
Yes, sir.
Check it out. But, you while you're currently playing, you don't really think about a lot of that stuff. Because if you're playing games for the accolades outside of a Super Bowl, then you're playing for the wrong reasons. But then at the end of your career, and then you look back and you say, wow, you know what? I was special. I was part of, something special, because it takes, football is you can have a Michael Jordan or actually a Steph Curry that can go drop 60 any given night. But it's, in football, it takes all 11 guys on the same page, everything going in the right way. And so for me, it's just a reflection of the guys I played with and the coaches and all that kind of stuff. So, and my parents, obviously. So that was, it feels pretty special.
Yeah, man. And how was the Jets? What was that decision when you leaving Minnesota going to the Jets? Another business decision?
That was, that was a funny one, because when I signed with Minnesota, I signed a 2-year deal, and I was like, I'm pretty much done. But when AP came in, it's almost just like when you got a dog, he's starting to get a little older. You bring in that young puppy, and that dog gets a little life. So AP was like, hey, man, T-Rich, you want to run sprints after practice? I'm like, yeah, man, I love running after practice. And I said, how many? We just over and back. I'm like, how many you want to run? He said 4. I said, oh, cool. That's what I would do all the time. He was like, no. We're going to go over and back. That's 1. Full speed. And I'm like, whoa. So he's talking about doing 4 of those. And this after practice, like, dude, we just had a full practice. But being in that condition and working with him, and then we made the Pro Bowl. That was the 2008 year we made the Pro Bowl. Mm-hmm. And so my contract was up, and my running back coach, it's funny how relationships in the game and how things kind of come full circle. So when I went to Kansas City, my running back coach was Jimmy Ray. And for our listeners, if you want a little history, Jimmy Ray was a quarterback at Michigan State, and he was the first African American quarterback to win a national championship. So he was like a father figure. Like he would talk to us about ball, but half the time we just talk about life. And so he's a person I still look up to. Just talked to him the other day, and so when I left the Vikings, Jimmy Ray was a running back coach in New York. So he calls me up. He was like, "Hey, pro, how you doing?" I said, "Hey, Jimmy, how's it going on?" He was like, "You still got a little gas in the tank?" I said, "Jimmy, what you thinking, man?" He was like, "Look, T, we got a young coach. We had Eric Mangini. He said we're building a good team, but we need veteran leadership. Are you open to coming to New York?" And I had, living in the South and Alabama and all these small places. Like you think about, my family even they thought Satan was sitting on top of the Empire State Building just striking people. So you know how the South is. Everyone in the South think New York is like Armageddon up
New
there.
York and Cali, boy.
Yeah. So it was kind of like it was an adjustment, but best decision I made because I came to New York. I mean, playing in this market, I still live in Queens, right outside the city. Firefighters, police officers, just hard nosed. There's people that grind every day. And so I ended up playing 3 years here, man. And shoot, the last 2 years we had a lot of success when we had Revis and Mark Sanchez, and we went to back-to-back AFC Championship games, and we were close. Last game was against.
Yeah. Everybody remembers Sanchez in the
well, crazy enough, if we would have beat the Steelers that last game, we would have been playing in the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl was in Dallas. So for me, it was like a storybook ending to be able to play in a Super Bowl where I started, but it didn't work out. So the Steelers, Big Ben, and they beat us. And so, the rest is history.
Who say was give me your most influential people that was on your career at the time? Who gave you the best advice? Who was the go-to people during your playing career? You played a long one, so I know you came across some really good players there that helped you out.
So I think that's actually a very good question. So early on, obviously having Emmitt Smith and Daryl Johnson in my running back room, like you can't put a price on that. I saw Michael Irvin down at the Super Bowl. You can say what you want about Michael Irvin off the field. He was the hardest working cat I've ever, he wouldn't let, if Troy was in there in the huddle, Mike wouldn't let another receiver touch the field for reps. Every Tuesday, he used to make me like, "Look, Rook, I don't care what you do Monday night. Tuesday, you better be in the weight room. We put on combat boots. We get on that squat rack." That joke, he was a receiver. I'll squat me. And I was just like, you know what? To see that mentality and they just come off back-to-back Super Bowls, you would probably think like, oh, they just going to go dial it in. That work ethic, man, it was kind of one of those teams where there was so much veteran leadership, and we had Barry Switzer that year. He was a young coach, but I'm not gonna say we could have played without coaching, but we didn't necessarily need coaching from the standpoint of, don't do this, because the guys in the locker room really policed it and kept everything moving. So obviously in that situation, but then when I got to Kansas City, from a spiritual standpoint, Dave Zott, he's one who, started getting me going to Bible studies, getting me involved in church, and got me committed, when I committed my life to Christ. And so he was always there. And Will Shields, and of course, Marcus Allen. So I was, and that's the thing now, like I try to pay it forward, going to the combine, like me and Warwick Dunn, we were mentors this year to the running backs. And I'm like, I look back on it, I was like, if I didn't have a mentor like Marcus Allen or Emmitt Smith, like, I don't think I would have made it, because I would have been some young, know-it-all rookie and trying to do it on my own. And that you can't do it like that. So for me, having those guys early on in my life, from a football standpoint and just a maturity standpoint, it really helped me a lot.
Nice, man. Nice. How is those rookie class for the running backs looking? We can get into some draft right now. How is those draft picks looking? Because I really like Isaiah Spiller.
Yep.
I'm hoping he can come to Philly.
Yep.
Or even Walker the Third was pretty good. He's looking pretty good out there. Those are probably my two favorite ones out there. But have you seen some more high-end running backs coming out of the draft?
It's interesting, man. It's just like, it's crazy because now you don't really see first-round running backs. I mean, because those days of – because now it's just like, I mean, you think about it, Alvin Kamara goes fourth round, and he's one of the best backs. So there's some cats that flat ran, really well. But I'm going to tell you a cat to look out for is what's the running back in starting running back in Minnesota? From Florida State. He can get down too. But he has a brother, and I didn't even know. I looked on the last name. I was like, I can't even think his name. Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
So Dalvin
from
Cook
Georgia.
From Georgia. Dude, I'm like, I was looking at him, I'm like,
yeah, Dalvin Cook's brother from Georgia.
Yeah, man. And so they had that 1-2 punch in the national championship. That kid, I think he can. He's not as top end speed. I think as Dalvin, because Dalvin, you give it to him at 5, he can take it 95. But this kid is smooth, man, running routes, catch the ball out the backfield. There's gonna be some. I mean, I just did a podcast with Damian Woody last night, and we were talking about just how deep this draft is. Offensive line, defensive line, man, these dudes out here 310, 320 out here running 4.8. So like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
Jordan Davis from Georgia too.
Dude,
really, if you draft anybody from Georgia, you're doing good. The champions, man, they got some players coming to the league this year, man.
They should have just took a blank checkbook and just handed it to y'all just write the check. Because them cats about to get paid, bro. I'm like, I don't know what y'all eating down there in Georgia, but it's different.
It's different.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what's some good advice you gave some of these young guys? You know, they're all about to start their, NFL career. What's some good advice to let them know, while they're making their journey into the league?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think early on right now is enjoy the process. Because sometimes you could get so wrapped up that, I got to run a 40 here, I got to bench press here. And I tell these guys, I said, man, enjoy the process, because, and a good thing about having Warwick and myself is like, Warwick was a first-round pick. I think he was number 12, maybe 13th pick, which is crazy for a running back. And I was a free agent. So you look at, and I didn't get a chance to go to the combine. So I tell these guys, like, enjoy the process. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, and understand that it's not where you start, it's how you finish. And that's the thing that I try to really ingrain in them. Is it's like, and that's the thing, I love giving examples like a Dante Hall or Darren Sproles, because how many times in life, or you can even attest to this, like, someone would say, oh, man, you're too small, you can't do this. It's not about the size of the dog. It's about the size of the dog in the fight. You know what I mean? The heart. And that's my thing, is like those intangibles you can't teach. And so if you want it, and now you, especially going to the combine, if you get an invite to the combine, and even if you don't get drafted, they know who you are. If you get an invite to the camp, dude, listen, like, it ain't personal, man. Like, listen, I'm going to have to chin check you every day, bro. You're my teammate, but I got to get mine. Like, you already got yours. I'm coming at your chin every day. So, I just tell the kids, enjoy the process, take coaching. And I'm sure you see these young kids now, these millennials, they got it. They got their hats down, they got the headphones on, and they're looking at the phone. I'm like, look, man, you need to expand
put the phone down. Put the
phone down. Like, you need to expand your horizon. Like, all the answers ain't on the internet and Twitter and Instagram, and that stuff's fun. But enjoy it, man. Enjoy the process, and just bust your butt, and good things will happen.
You think that's what's going on with a lot of players today? I'm starting to notice too in the NFL, and probably not like when you play, because I don't think you guys are walking around with cell phones in your hand all day.
Thank God.
Because these guys, I feel like they're mentally, because NFL is a mental sport. Everybody there is physically gifted enough to be playing. It's about the mental side of it, and you see these tweets, these posts, everything, these memes that come out about you. Or, do you think that's a bad thing for this generation? Do you think they really need to put the phone down? Because, like, I see some top flight players right now, deal with that and struggling with that, right now. And it's affecting their gameplay on the field.
Yeah, it's funny you say it, because there was a kid, I still think he may go top 10, 15, but the kid from Oregon, the defensive end, Thibodeau. So at one, I'm a guy who loves watching college football, so I would stay up late because you don't get a lot of Oregon, ball on the East Coast because it's so late. But I was watching this kid, and all of a sudden I'm like, all right, one point in time, they had this kid to be projected the first overall pick.
Yeah, number one.
And now it's sliding back, but they're saying that he's almost like too polished. You know what I mean? Like, he's like scripted, and it's all about like the brand. And so I think that's turning teams off. Like you said, it's like, these kids, and it's not a bad thing, I guess, if you're 19 years old and got 200,000 followers, but like, you're not Jesus. Like, you don't need to, for Jesus has these followers. You don't need followers. Like, you need to just, like you said, put the phone down. All that extra stuff will come. I think that's kind of turning teams off, because it's just like, you don't want some guy. It's like, man, I want a football player. I don't need an Instagram supermodel as my defensive end. You know what I mean? Those kind of things will come. But I think that's a great question, because I think that's starting to turn, some teams off. And also, I do think it affects their play, because as soon as they come from the game, the first thing they want to do is like, oh man, how many likes did I get on this play? Or like, dude, it's a game. And it's like, you should, and the game hasn't changed. When we played, it's still a football game. It's 100 yards. and it's catching, throwing, and it's all this other stuff. Now it's become like a big business, and it's like, and I know the money is there, which is great, but play the game and let the game, take care of itself, and don't try to try to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, I wish we can get in front of these kids and just say, look, man, enjoy your life, man, because this Instagram and posting and everyone's driving a Ferrari and everyone's flying a private plane and everyone popping bottles, like that's not reality. It's just, it's
Yeah.
don't get caught up in that.
He said, question, is there a 2022 draft prospect whose college play is similar to Tony Richardson's style?
Well, they don't got no fullbacks, man. So
they didn't have none there?
They didn't even invite, there was not one fullback at the combine. And it's funny because Alec Ingold with the Raiders, I mentored him at the Senior Bowl I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. Had him at the combine. He was the only fullback then at the combine. So you see some guys that's like, kind of a bigger guy that they may try to convert. But the sad part about it, and I talk most of now my boys are running back coaches, and they can't even find cats that block, because in college they don't even ask them to block. It's all that zone stuff, and they can't pass block, and they definitely can't run block. So it's so really what they're doing now is trying to get tight ends, the big body style, and trying
to let them
block. I be every time I see a fullback or a tight end there, next thing I know, I see that joker get shot out the hole backwards. I'm like, yeah, homeboy, you're playing a little too high.
Yeah, you're playing a little too high.
Getting drops to his knee. So it's and some coaches are like, oh yeah, just put a guy in there. I'm like, nah, fullback is, you got to be able to knee bend, hip bend. You got to be able to leverage and all that stuff. So yeah, I haven't seen a cat. There was no fullbacks at the combine. There'll be some that, I don't even know if we'll have one in the draft class, but there'll be hopefully there's some that come out. They can't get rid of us yet.
Yeah, man. I was talking to him like a couple of weeks back. I had Leonard Weaver on, you know,
yeah.
And me and Big Weaver talking, man. Yeah, you guys, man. I think you guys changed it because I feel like both of you guys were able to block, lay that wood on the field, and also carry the ball, take receptions, do whatever you need to do. You're like a complete package as opposed to, just a blocking back. You had some really good blocking backs back in those days too. The Johnston from Dallas, he was a really good blocker. And then, you had guys like Mike Allstat, who was more of a running back than a blocker, but he still could lay that wood too, I guess.
I'm going to tell you a cat I looked up to, and unfortunately he passed away. He's a former Eagle, was from Alabama. Was it Turner? He was a fullback. He was the white guy.
Turner.
Yeah.
He did die. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was in college. I looked up to him, Kevin Turner. And he was a cat I really looked up to, man, because he was tough as nails. And he was that traditional West Coast fullback, can run routes, could block, could catch, like do everything, man. And so, it was sad to see him pass. But yeah, he was a guy I looked up to. Yeah.
What's life after football now? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? Like, what are you doing currently?
So actually I work with so my department is called the Legends Community. So I actually work for the NFL, and so my department is we are the transition. So actually the Eagle is my guy Gary Cobb. So he has the Eagles. I have the Jets and the Giants, and so really, and it really doesn't even matter like where we live. So there might be a guy who lives, say, in Philly, but I have a relationship with him, and he can call me up like, hey, T. Rich, man, can you tell us about the dental plan or the vision plan or some financial benefits or different things like that. The one thing I'm probably most proud about now is obviously these mentor opportunities, because what we realize, the average NFL career is, 3 to 5 years. So if we can mentor them on the front end, because you're going to be a former player a lot longer, you're going to be a current player. That's just statistics. Unless you're Tom Brady. Tom Brady's probably going to he probably going to be 70. Yeah, he going to be out there throwing it at 70.
He psyched everybody out. I'm bad.
But so now we get a chance to mentor these kids on the front end. So when they go through their career, and if it's year 5 or year 6 and they're getting ready to transition out, we already built a relationship, and it makes the relationship so much smoother, because now it's not like that we just now meeting them for the first time at the end of their career. And so, that's what moves the needle in my life now. I do a lot of philanthropy. I live right here in Queens, so I'm on the board for the Boys and Girls Club. Nice. Different things like that. I work with a lot of children's hospitals, and just, because now you got a lot more time on my hands. And so I'm actually probably busier now as a former player than as a current player, just because there's a lot more opportunities and more time to give back and help out.
Nice. Have you watched any Eagles football?
Right, I mean, I'm telling you, I listen. I ain't even joking. I listen to WIP every morning, and I'm sad that my dude Angelo is retiring. So I'm all up on the Birds. Jason Kelsey sung the national anthem at the. He butchered it though. I like Kelsey, but he tore it up.
You threw that song up.
Listen, man, that dude's they gonna have a statue of him, and they should, man. That cat, he's one of my favorite Eagles
Yeah.
of all time. B-Dog, obviously B-Dog. I used to train. I used to go out to Arizona with McNabb. He used to do passing camps, and he'd have running backs, and he'd
Oh my
have
God.
quarterbacks, and we'd all go out to AZ and work out with McNabb. So I'm a quiet Eagle fan, man. It's fun, man. Cause I
Don't
love
be
it.
quiet about it. Let
Well,
your Eagles.
I love the fan base though, man. Cause like I'm gonna tell you how I became an Eagles fan. So if you ever listen to the Howard Stern show, Richard Christie, he's a big Chiefs fan, but his wife is Kristen Christie, and she's like fanatic Eagles fan. So we go to I think it's there's three of them in the city, but they're Eagle bars. So she was like, "Hey T Rich, you want to go to the I can't think of the name of this place." She was like, "You want to go to the bar in the city?" I was like, "Yeah." So she's like, "Well, Richard, he's gonna come out and pick you up. I already be there, so I can get seats." So we get there, dude. She's sitting at the bar, right? She got the laptop or iPad open. She tweeting with her dad. She got headphones in, and there's a screen right up there. Man, I don't know who the Birds were playing. All of a sudden, someone threw a pick. Man, this dude took a beer, full glass, and threw it at the TV. Pow! And it exploded. Ain't
Whoa.
nobody bat an eye, and everybody just went back to. I'm like, dude, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, this fan base is. I can get down with this. The Eagle fans are about that life, man. So,
Yeah, they about that life. We don't play games over here
dude,
in
he
Philly.
took the beer. The dude
Man,
took the beer and threw it at the TV. The bartender, nobody said nothing. That shit, pow! And I'm like, nah. I'm like, yeah, Eagles fans on a different level, bro. So, yeah, I'm a quiet Eagles fan, man. So I would love watching the Birds play. Dude, how about your left tackle, man? That dude's a
my
monster.
Lotta.
Dude, he might be the biggest human in the world. Like that
Right?
dude can get down.
And I heard there's another guy that's coming out of the draft this year. Supposed to
Yeah.
be bigger than them.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
And
which is
that's just
scary.
crazy.
Yeah, scary. I
But the
think he's
fact that
like,
he did it playing rugby, he never even played football before, and now he's one of the best left tackles. That was definitely a developmental project that not too many people thought were going to pan out, and he panned out great, man. Like I love him over there, man. I love him.
dude, I see him throw. We always say, like, I was on a chat with Damian Woody. We like, yep, he got thrown out the club. My man be throwing people out the club. Like, get on up out here.
Easily, just get out of here, little guy.
Dude, he be
And then
looking
we
for
drafted.
contact too.
And then we drafted Landon Dickerson over there, another big guy. Putting them guys on that left side together, man. People are like, what if Kels leave? Do you want to move him to center? That's what we drafted. I'm like, no, you don't mess up that Broham right there.
No.
They are like best friends. You got to keep them there and let them grow together for years to come. You know what I'm saying? That left side be down packed for a while.
Yeah. So what's your predictions? Obviously, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy because
I'm a huge Jalen Hurts guy. Like I get so much heat for being the Jalen Hurts guy. I get so much heat for it. But I tell people, I'm sorry. That was a good first year for a quarterback. It wasn't great. Obviously, does he got things to learn? The boy's 23 years old. Of course he does. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell you, he can't read defenses. I'm like, what quarterback came in reading defenses?
Dude, Patrick Mahomes said it took him until, I think, going into his third year that he really started, second or third year that he started, and that's crazy. I'm like, dude, how you have that much success? You and that's crazy. So it's a maturation. Like you just ain't.
And Patrick Mahomes have elite talent around him here.
Exactly.
You're talking about the cheetah. You got Kels over there. The cheetah. He had Watkins. You know what I'm saying? He had some ballers over there.
And quiet as kept, he still got Josh Gordon over there waiting in the wings. I'm like,
right?
Track team over there.
And people don't even understand. Like even me, like I've watched football since I was little, man. And I watched like every Eagle team. I was huge. Randall Cunningham, the guy that got me started with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Way back. And freaking even Brady, man. Brady was game manager in the first couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't this superstar that everybody loved to say is the GOAT. He was a normal quarterback out there on a successful team. You know what I'm saying? He had good coaching. He didn't mess up the game. That's what got Brady good. He didn't mess up the game. And
think about the Super Bowls though. Like all of those Super Bowls came down to a heroic play or like a last minute field goal. So it wasn't like
Vinatieri's leg. He was kicking some boomers.
It was all
That's
different.
what made him legendary. There weren't no 30-yard field goals. There was like
Exactly.
50-yarders, 55-yarders.
Yeah, like kick an 88-yard field goal.
Yeah. Then he was kicking them out of the stadium back then, man. And then he went over to go kick for Peyton Manning. Got him his first Super Bowl over there, man. So I tell people, you got to really relax and stop looking at all the clickbait stuff. Stop looking at all that when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, man. He got the ways to go. He got time to grow, but he's only, like I said, he's only 23 years old. Like, he's still a puppy. You know what I'm saying?
I hope they ride with him, though, man, because I keep hearing, I know Deshaun Watson said,
nah, we ain't getting no Watson.
No.
I ain't think we got no money for Watson, to be honest.
That's
like,
true.
You know, like that ship done sailed, you know, and I was going to be mad as hell if we would have got Watson. Like, because, like, if you keep doing this, you're showing that you don't have no loyalty. You know, you can't just keep giving up on your quarterback and sending them off because they ain't the superstar right off the jump. You know, Carson played all right his first year, but he came back his second year and he was MVP candidate before he got hurt.
I was on the Wentz wagon. I was with Ike Reese on the Wentz wagon, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off. But yeah, that injury, man, he just never came back from that injury. But he was getting done. He would have been MVP that year for sure.
And then like his problem was he just mental. You know, it's back to listening to what everybody's saying, rushing yourself back from injuries too fast. You know what I'm saying? Now it got to the point where we just traded him away. He already just got traded away again to a new team, man. That's crazy. I feel bad for him. I hope he can get it together. But well, with Hurts, man, he's that dude. I'm not even worried about it. The leadership that he possesses, you know, the big playability is there. They question his reading. Like I said, like he's gonna learn. You know, like I said, you can't come in, you know, and just learn how to look at defense. If you can go light, if you're a first year, I remember Jimmy Johnson for us back in the day. He used to love whenever the Eagles played any first year or second year quarterback. He loved it because we never lost, no matter how good their team was. We destroyed first and second year quarterbacks back in the day. Just destroyed them because that's what it is. If you're a good defensive coordinator, they shouldn't be able to read your defense. They shouldn't be able to figure out what you're doing because you're a veteran.
It helps when you got Brian Dawkins back there too. So that when you got
Trotter in the middle, Landon Wood, exactly. So I think give him another. Like if you give him 2 more years, if you don't see progress, then I can understand you moving away. But right now, it's way too early to say he's good or bad or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a good quarterback. You know, I watched him here in Alabama. I watched when he went over to Oklahoma and did his thing. Heisman Trophy winner up. It's like, you know, he got the talent. Now he just got to put it all together, you know, and start making some more plays. You know what I'm saying? Make some more plays. He made a lot of plays with his legs this year, which most rookie quarterbacks do. They use the ability that they can use the most with. But let's see if you can come into year 2 now and make some more passing plays out there. And I even think 3,100 yards is not that bad. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
3,100 yards is pretty good for your first year. Like I said, I think he did great. You know, I'm on a Hurts train 100%. Devontae Smith, another guy. You know what I'm saying? All the Alabama boys that we got on the team finally start picking them up. You know, and add them to the roster. So I'm really looking forward to all these guys making a huge step going into this year. I think the Eagles should be a team. We got an easy schedule. I can't say any game in the NFL is easy, but the schedule is looking pretty favorable. And then you also got, you know, the Cowboys are deteriorating in front of our face. You know what I'm saying?
They're breaking them apart. I like every receiver they got been gone.
The Giants. They got Danny Food Stamps, I call him. And, you know, Danny Food Stamps ain't win no football game. Ain't worried about him, you know. And then you got Carson Wentz, which I think, you know, whenever the Eagles give up a player to division, they light us up. When D-Jax went over there, he lit us up. When McNabb went over there, he lit us up.
D-Jax still light people up, though. I'm like, man, how that cat that old still running like that?
Right? But I think Wentz, it's all in his head. And unless he went this offseason, because he went to the person that was supposed to fix him. You know, with Frank Wright. He was with Frank Wright. Should have got fixed there. And less than a year, your guy that's supposed to get you right is shipping you out. So
I think something had to happen behind the scenes because that was his guy. I'm like, dude, they got rid of you in the first year. Like something's not right. I don't get it, but you know.
Yeah. So I'm looking for us to win the division this year. You know me. I'm high freaking up on the Eagles this year. I'm like, yeah, babe, we're gonna win that division. Hurts gonna be an MVP candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking for big things coming this year, especially in the draft, man. I really think that we can really light it up with 3 first-round picks. I'm hoping to keep them all. They don't trade any of them. I don't want to trade it. I feel like if you're going to rebuild a team like you say you are, you should just use them. You know what I'm saying? You use those first-round picks, You know, they're great talent. We need defense. There's nothing but defensive players in that first.
How we like to will and deal though. You know how we like to will and
Well,
deal.
he can will himself up and down the draft board, you know, but he better be picking 3 times. I don't know.
Yeah,
He ain't got to stay at 15, 16, to 19.
Yeah, that's true.
But there better be 3 picks in there, whether it's
Yeah.
10, 17 and 19, or 10, 21 and 30.
What'd you think of the linebacker? They gave the linebacker some big cheese. Who they giving free agency? I saw they signed a linebacker.
Oh yeah, Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, he can
awesome
play.
pickup, man. I did a players that I wanted to come to Philly. That's another young cat, got a high motor. You know, he's had 23 sacks over the last 2 years. I think that's going to add nothing but dangerous abilities to our defensive pass rush, which we were dying of last year. You know, we got a lot of older cats that aren't as fast as they used to be. So I think he brings that energy, that youth, and then maybe we can go draft a DN and another linebacker. I want them to draft, to be honest. I want 2 linebackers just
That'd be nice. Yeah.
You know, if we can get like a Dean or a Lloyd in the first round, then come circle back around and get Christian Harris from Alabama, that'll be my dream draft scenario. You know, go get a Jordan Davis because Fletcher Cox is running out of time here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't do nothing with him. He got too much of a dead cap. You know,
ain't nobody touching that. Ain't
nobody gonna touch that. Yeah. But you know, also he's getting up there in age. It'd be good to get a guy like Jordan Davis. Like we said, he ran a 4.8. You know, like that's ridiculous for a guy 360 pounds. So I think we can do good, man. Which team? What do you think KC gonna do, or the Jets?
Well, funny enough, so I don't know because I've kind of been out most of the day. So I know that the Chiefs they signed a safety because I know I was hoping the Honey Badger came back.
That's what I want in free agent.
Now if he comes, because he brings that attitude. He's a smart player. He's a locker room guy. I've heard nothing but great things about him. So that would be a good pickup for the Birds. I think the Jets. I mean, they got the tight end from Cincinnati, which I thought was a big move. Young quarterback, so you got to get some pieces around them. The rumor I hear is they might, because I think the Jets have the 4th, and maybe the 10th pick. Mm-hmm. The 10th pick, I think they were talking about maybe trying to trade for DJ Metcalf. I'm like,
ooh,
because they're in the rebuild mode now. So Seattle, they done sold the farm. So you get rid of Bobby Wagner and you get rid of Russ. It's like,
how do you think Russ gonna do over there, man? I think he made a bad decision.
You think he made a bad decision?
Yeah.
Dude, they got so many weapons over there.
Yeah, they're young weapons.
Yeah, they're young.
But they got so many good teams over there, man.
That's
you talking about KC. You got up and coming Chargers that just signed Khalil Mack, CJ Jackson.
Dude,
man,
Khalil Mack,
you went from being number 4 in your division to maybe being number 3. I think when you give up that kind of capital, it's to win a Super Bowl for a quarterback. You know, and right now I'm looking at, are they going to even win a division? You know what I'm saying? Like with the talent.
Yeah, it's going to be hard pressed to win a division.
So I don't know. Maybe Russ want to prove that he is still an elite quarterback because that's the only way I would have made my no clause go to that team right there. They have too many stud teams over there, man.
That's true.
But hey, I know we gotta get you out of here, my guy. But hey, give me your. Cause I usually do an all-time team on my show for players. Come on, give me their all-time team. You know, when you're on one team. But what I want to do is just give me like 10 players. You know that you really loved playing with through your time in the NFL.
All right, so if I go, let me see, offensive lineman, man. If I go offensive lineman, I got to go with I got to be Will Shields at left guard. No, I need Will Shields at right guard. I need Steve Hutchinson at left guard.
Ooh.
I need Willie Rofe at left tackle. Obviously, Tony Gonzalez at the tight end. If I'm going defense, I got to go Derek Thomas, DT on the edge. Darrelle Revis in the cornerback. Let's see. Adrian Peterson. I'm going to do a split back. So I'm going to do Thomas Jones. We're going to run a wishbone. I won't be in the game. So we're going to have Thomas Jones.
Well, you're not going to put yourself in?
Yeah, you know, it's Madden. So we're going to put Thomas Jones, LaDainian, and AP. And then my last one would probably be, let's see. I got to get a quarterback. I played with Brett Favre, so I got to put Favre in there. Favre. Yeah.
There you go. Which running back you enjoy blocking for the most?
I think the one I enjoyed the most, because we probably had the most success, was Priest Holmes. but by far the most gifted running back was hands down Adrian Peterson. Yeah, but me and Priest got it done. So that was pretty cool.
Hey man, that's great, man. Hey, thanks, kid. Hey, any social media, anywhere you want people to follow you at, or you do anything?
Yeah, so Twitter, at 49TRich. Facebook is Tony Richardson. Instagram is private, but I do accept. So it's Tony Rich NY. So yeah, I'm always Tony
Yeah, I
Rich
think I
NY.
tagged a fake account today when I put that up because it was like I think this is him. It had his picture, but I don't know. But hey man, thanks again for coming by. Anytime you want to get down, I'm down to always talk some football with you, my guy. Make sure you go talk to your boy Sproles. Tell him
I know, right?
Another little guy want him on the show. We can be twinsies up here.
I know, right?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, thank everybody for coming through. Like I always say at the end of my videos, fly, Eagles, fly. Till then, this is another episode of BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BG, and I'm out. Peace.